A man's rock bottom is his time to shine. If you're at rock bottom right now, I want to tell you everything in this life is an opportunity if you allow it to be. Everything in this life is an opportunity if you allow it to be. We are in a time where artificial intelligence is taking over. It's taking over content, it's taking over workplaces, it's taking over everything in this world. Soon enough we might be living in fucking Terminator, if you know what I mean. like like we might be living in fucking Skynet, you know? Um but if you're in rock bottom, this is your time to shine. Most people, I talk to people all the time. People are craving connection. People are craving truth. People are craving authenticity and honesty. Do you know how hard it is to walk around every day of your life and be in survival mode? Be under immense amount of pressure from society, from your family, from your own doubts and insecurities. You know how many people walk around like that? Most of the populace does. Afraid of what's going to happen next, afraid of losing their job, not understanding what's going on in the world with, all the, if you live in the US, all the politics. Most people are looking for the truth, you know, and it's so refreshing to see people act themselves, be themselves. Sorry, not act themselves, but be themselves, being authentic, sharing their fears and their failures and their doubts, because that proves what's real. Because right now we're living in an age where you could go to ChatGPT, find problems and solutions, to the problems that you're having. But it's much different when someone with a living soul is actually speaking about the problems that you have. Because then now we're able to connect. Now we're able to say, this man gets me. And my point with this is your rock bottom story could become the exact avenue that you need to shape and, to not only rebuild yourself and become a better man, but help other people once you get back up on your feet with your own personal stories. And I'm not talking about like making content. You could make content, but really rock bottom wherever you're at. Maybe you lost a business like I did. Maybe you got fat as fuck like I did. Maybe you lost your woman like I did. You have a story that you're writing, and the world is waiting for you to share your story. Because like me, I lost a lot, but I lost myself. I lost myself. Not only did I lose myself, I didn't trust myself anymore. And you know how many men go through that and we don't talk about it after relationships? Like, it's a big thing, and it's such a hard place to get out of. I had a lot of people around me, especially the Most High, guide me to get out of rock bottom. But it took me 2.5 years to this point. To this point, I'm not gonna say I'm in rock bottom. Really, I got out of rock bottom when I broke up with my ex. But it took me a while to realize that, because I was chasing who I used to be, and I was looking to trust myself again, because my problem was I didn't trust myself no more. I didn't trust myself to not fuck something up, because once you sabotage something, once you lose something, you do have that fear of success or fear of failure, which is all bullshit, is what I realized. But your rock bottom is an opportunity. You know, your rock bottom could change someone else's life. And to be honest with y'all could get paid for it too. Like, if you go through rock bottom, like for example, many guys in the fitness industry are motivated by their own rock bottom. Finally, like tired of being super skinny, so they decide to finally bulk up and go to the gym. That's how you make a fitness coach. And a cold approach coach, tired of seeing the woman of their dreams walk by and they never do anything about it. So they finally put themselves out there. They finally go after the woman they want, and they want other men to be able to do the same. That cold approach coach, you know so there's many ways that you could use your own story to teach other people. Very fulfilling and purposeful mission to have, you know maybe your rock bottom, it wasn't that intense, but you still have something to share with people in your personal life, with people online. But that's up to you to do. But the most important thing I wanted to talk about was, this is your time to shine. This is your time to say to yourself, how can I shape myself into the man that I know that I am? Because many of us that are competent, ambitious, we know we have to be a certain man to get what we want. You don't get what you want and then become a certain man. You become a certain man so you could get what you want out of life, right? When you begin to act like that man and think like how that man would think, this is still you, right? Because you have an ideal version of yourself, that best version of yourself. When you begin to be like him, think like him, make decisions like he would make decisions, you begin to become the man that you've always known yourself to be. And you know what I'm talking about. It's that feeling of, like, I know who I am, but I just can't express it. Like, I know how I feel about myself. I know I'm great, but I just, I know I'm special, but that is who you are. You're not crazy. Like, the world outside of you might think you're fucking crazy, but that is who you are. That man inside that he could go after it. He's driven, he's courageous, he's bold. The problem is that you have so many limiting beliefs, mental blocks, maybe even childhood trauma that's keeping you the man that you're not happy with today, right? We all have conditioning and programming that we have to overcome day in and day out. And this is very biblical, very scriptural. This is what the scriptures call renewing of the mind. Romans 12 and 2. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. You have to reprogram yourself the way that you want to be. And rock bottom is the best time to do so. When you're on top of the mountain, when you're at a place of status, you don't give a shit. You're gonna feel like nothing is wrong with you, which is wrong already in the first place. You always have to be reflecting. But when you're in rock bottom, this is your time to say, where did I fuck up? How did I get here? What do I need to do? What do I need to change about myself? Not what do I need to do better? What do I need to change about myself first? For me, like, I had to make it a point to keep my fucking word, because I was so afraid to keep my word. Anytime I would start a habit, anytime I would say I was going to do something, I knew I wasn't going to do it. I was afraid to declare things, you know? Like, I was afraid to make promises because I felt like I wasn't going to keep them. And see, something like that was a childhood script for me. It was a voice, it was my mom's voice. She would tell me, like, don't make promises because promises are meant to be broken. And that voice stuck with me as a kid. And I never realized, like, that I was afraid to make promises until I was put in situations where people would ask me to make a promise. I'll be like, no, because I'm just going to mess it up. And when you tell yourself things like that in your head, yes, they become true. It's like a self-written prophecy. You already prophesied what you're going to do. So just be very conscious of what you tell yourself. So that way, while you're in this state of vulnerability, you could overcome it much quicker. Because I already know, if you're in rock bottom, man, I'm a failure. I'm a piece of shit. How could I have let myself go like that? Fuck, man. Like, am I really the man that I say I am? You are. I'm gonna be the first to tell you, you are. You just slipped up. You just slipped up. You took a setback. It's time for you to change. You are the problem. You are the reason that the things that you are the reason rock bottom happened. It wasn't the people around you. It wasn't circumstances. If it was circumstance, how did you get yourself in those circumstances? How did you put yourself in a situation for you to get into rock bottom? What did you do? Always ask yourself, what did I do? Where did I go wrong? Because at least you give yourself, and I'm going to say the illusion of control. You give yourself control in that situation, which turns into power because now you could get better rather than, blaming the ex girlfriend like I did until my brother told me straight up I was the problem. My father told me straight up I was the problem. Blaming your job, blaming other people, blaming circumstances. You put yourself in that fucking situation. Ask yourself, how did I get here? You know, and don't be afraid to admit the truth to yourself. Don't be afraid to do it. Because once you do, the truth shall set you free. And you'll begin the healing process within yourself. And you'll finally be able to be the man that you know you're meant to be.